Hello, mon ami. What can Sykes do for you?
You know what the overhead for running a gang is? I gotta get some money rolling in.
Charity is not a favorite virtue of Sykes. Perhaps, though, Sykes can interest you in some work?
Keep talking.
Naturally, as Sykes is currently under investigation by the Stillwater PD, this is, of course, hypothetical. But if there was a car out front containing a loose woman, and if you were to provide an environment where said woman could entertain lustful individuals, or while maintaining their privacy, Sykes might be able to pay you in cash or in trade.
Cash is good.
Looks like we have ourselves a partnership, no?
Partnership nothing. I'm just driving around your hose.
Yeah, what Cassie said right there at the end is pretty accurate as to what will be going on in this episode. Hey there, friendos, Fredo Supreme, the American Dream, back with more Saints Row 2 action. This time, we are doing us some escort missions. The good news is, it's not escort missions like in GoldenEye, where we gotta escort Natalia everywhere. The bad news is, these missions are just as annoying in their own way. Ah, that teleport was pretty magic.
Do I pay you now or after the sex? Can you help me with my makeup?
So, oh crud. Yeah, that's the main hazard of these missions. If you haven't played this game before, you have to dodge news vans who apparently have nothing better to do than drive around taking pictures of two people professing their love to each other in the back of a tinted window sedan.
It's not like we're wearing
Oops, sorry about that. That one was on me. I actually crashed into them on my own volition. Pun somewhat intended.
You better pay for this.
Well, the good news is the first level of the escort activity is quite simple. As you can see, the pleasure meter is almost filled up, and I haven't even encountered that many news vans. I mean, I just that one in the beginning, and I saw one pop up on the minimap I was well out of its radius, but otherwise, nothing really serious in terms of footage.
The tip, asshole.
You're amazing.
And if that meter fills up, then it's basically game over. As I said like 5 seconds ago, even though this mission starts out even though this activity starts out somewhat easily, it gets a lot more annoying the further you progress into it. And as you can see, a news van just popped up on right behind me. I wonder if I can take a quick shortcut through here. Nice!
You ain't even gonna leave a note?
Okay, that was an impressive jump right there. Oh, I managed to get 3 gold stars and 2 wheels. Nice. Okay, I really need to remember that for future reference for this activity. I'm going to try to drive around here as much as possible. Whoop, kind of almost avoided that varsity there. And here's one of the more annoying aspects of escort, where the client wants to go for a little extra fun or go sightseeing to a certain location, in this case a brothel. If you've noticed in the upper left corner, the pleasure meter seems to not be filling up anymore because we haven't reached the brothel yet. That's something detrimental in my opinion because it allows for the news vans to get much more footage when you're on the way to the place in the event that you happen to get harassed, not harassed, but more like surrounded by a cavalcade of news vans. You may be wondering how it's possible to get swarmed when they're driving a bunch of clunky vans and we seem to be driving what amounts to a Crown Victoria. Well, a supercharged Crown Vic at least. Yes, I know it's called an Eyes Wolf, I'm just saying it kinda looks like a Crown Vic from certain angles. And a late model Taurus. The answer to how news vans can keep up to a vehicle like this? 3 words. Rubber band AI. It's also one of the reasons why chases in Driver 3 are a lot less fun than than you'd assume they are, because no matter how far away you get from the people pursuing you, no matter what kind of vehicle you're driving, they somehow manage to keep up with you. Although in Driver 3 it's slightly worse than this because you can actually see them on the mini-map activating a nitro boost out of nowhere. Here, it's a lot less noticeable, mainly because whenever you have high notoriety levels, then the enemies tend to more or less come at you in big numbers as opposed to just one individual or one vehicle coming at you and just activating a magic nitro every now and then when you get too far away. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was saying how that runs back to Escort in this game. And possibly the first one as well, haven't played it yet. Really kind of want to. See what I mean on the minimap down there? Well, not that collision I just took, that one's on me. I'm pretty sure if I was driving that Anchor, then I wouldn't be able to get cornering that well. Hell, if I was driving a compensator, I wouldn't be able to get cornering that well. Which is also another side effect of rubber band AI. Whenever the NPCs are driving a vehicle, they will be able to get better handling than you ever could, for reasons unknown. I assume that most developers would say it's for balance. I'd say it's compensation for the fact that the AI is not great. No offense, Volition. Your game is still fun nonetheless.
They're the one that convinced my wife to leave me.
And that's another thing about the escort activity. Sometimes you're required to kill a target in your vehicle for,
The home won't take felons.
Okay, even going by the standards of this game, that seems a little bit nuts, but still. The reason I didn't use guns when I was killing that target is because whenever you shoot a gun, most of the time in Escort, then the pleasure meter goes down. So keep that in mind should you attempt to get rid of oh, almost thought I got the car stuck.
You shouldn't be driving anything faster than a go-kart.
Ah, that was a pretty nice shortcut there. I landed on top of where I needed to go, but whatever. And I'm pretty sure I'm heading the wrong direction. And as a reward for completing half of the Red Light District's escort activity, we can now get vehicles delivered to us for $1,000 a pop. At this point in the game, that's kind of a little harsh, so I'm just going to keep going because, again, this is 100% LP, and when you get level 6 complete, then you unlock the ability to get them delivered to you for free, which is quite handy in my opinion. Well, as someone who's played a fair amount of GTA Online before even touching a Saints Row game, much less even considering the act, being able to have your personal vehicles delivered to you Johnny on the spot, that's quite the handy little thing in the event that you need to get your superiore over here because you're currently surrounded by angry gangbangers and you need to make like a banana and split. Well, or make like a cheerleader and split, whatever. And that's what happens when you try to take a shortcut in a non-standard manner.
Stay on the road. Someone tip the media.
That's another problem about these kinds of missions. Even when you're trying to get away from the news vans very quickly, if you're me, then you're likely to crash into a ton of things in the process. Unfortunately, much like any of your homies when they're riding with you outside of this activity, the clients and sometimes the prostitutes tend to complain a lot about your poor driving. Ordinarily, I wouldn't really mind, but when you're being bombarded by news vans who are so desperate for a scoop they're willing to record two people making love in the backseat of a luxury sedan,
Can't you make it more exciting?
let's just say priorities do not seem to be a very high priority in Stillwater.
Necessary.
Lose them already.
You're welcome, sir. Oh, I don't think I lost all of them. Oh, time to take advantage of something that vans even running on rubber band AI can't do. 180-degree turns. Sure, they might be able to pull it off themselves, but they have to waste a lot of time turning around. Meanwhile, driving an Eiswolf, I can make that motion in practically no time whatsoever, leaving me the victor.
Oh, God! What are you doing?
Well, for one, I seem to have a pedestrian stuck in the windshield of this thing. Correction, I seem to have a corpse in the passenger's... Wait. There seems to be a corpse that's both in the passenger seat and the,
I think the knots are coming loose.
I never had
Oh lord. Ah, that was a close one. I got so distracted by the, what appears to be a dead hobo in the front seat that I almost got the footage meter filled while trying to escape from the... Ah, there goes the body. While trying to escape from the news van and the private investigator.
Goodbye, sweet succubi.
All in all, I'd say that is the very definition of a close shave. And level 6 is where where most of these activities tend to get a little bit ridiculous, with the possible exception of Septic Avenger, because that's basically a rail shooter and it was already pretty ridiculous to begin with. I'm just lucky that I managed to get a head start on most of the news vans, and as a result, they seem to have a fair amount of trouble keeping up with me. My original intent for this part was to try to head as south as possible to the airport district so I could try to jump on the freeway, which would give me a lot of open space in terms of outmaneuvering the news vans. Well, as far as I can tell, for all I know, this game could probably end up conspiring against me to, long story short, make it so that there's a constant bombardment of news vans on the highway. So ultimately, I'm deciding to try to finish up here. See what I mean? Look how many news van pips there are on the radar, and that one that's right behind me seems to be. Oh, not really.
You didn't see anything. Understand?
Huh. Even with all their skilled Tanner-esque drivers behind the wheels of those vans, they still can't catch up with Cassie Phillips. Anyways, getting back to how this manages to relate to Cassie, it's because in order to be an efficient leader of a gang, you need to master... There are 3 tenets of running a gang, as far as I'm concerned. Marksmanship, focus, and pain endurance. The marksmanship Cassie got some practice in when she was working the cannon of that septic truck 2 parts ago. Here, she's honing her focus. Specifically, focus on whatever's in front of the vehicle, and not the crazy stuff that's going on in the back seat. And with that, we can now have our Johnny on the spot bring us our vehicles for no charge whatsoever. Kudos. Oh, phone call. Hang on a second. I have to take this.
Hey, be cool. It's not so bad. Mero asked to sit down and have a chat with you. He wants to work something out before things get out of control.
Huh. That Mero fella seems like he knows what's up around Stillwater. He seems like a pretty smart gangbanger. Definitely a smart feller, not a fart smeller, as my grandfather would say. Alas, Cassie is not done with her focus training just yet. She still has to do the other instance of escorting clients around town. Also, this guy right here was convulsing after I barreled into him. Huh, and he seemed to be cleaning the windows. That must have been one hell of a collision if it left that much blood. But anyways, like I said, this is about honing Cassie's focus right now. Let's get crackin', boyos.
Thanks for coming. I'm Lindsay.
You look a little nerdy to be a pimp.
I'm not a pimp. I'm a romance manager.
So what? No girl let you turn around?
That's not the point.
No girls means no work.
Look, just because I'm not working a corner like that bloated asshole Helmers doesn't mean that I don't have any girls. Look, I organize all my Johns through Meg's list. All I need is a driver to move the girls to the clients.
Why don't you do it?
Oh, I don't have my license yet.
This is a hell of an operation you're running.
Dude, shut up!
Is that any way to talk to an employee?
So you'll help?
Are you kidding me? I'm dying to see what kind of girls you're running up in this piece.
Gotta say, for a pimp, this Lindsay fella don't exactly look too imposing. Hell, Cassie's bigger than he is. Anyways, the university escort is my least favorite of the 2 instances, partially because the socialite has mediocre handling compared to the Eiswolf.
Can you sign this release form?
See, as I'm demonstrating here, this thing tends to have a little bit of input lag when it comes to steering, as in when you let off the stick, it takes a few seconds for the socialite to actually straighten out. A few more seconds, then a little bit more noticeably than your average vehicle. Well, specifically the Eiswolf. But with the socialite, it's a lot more noticeable. I mean, interestingly enough, once you get it up to a high speed, then it becomes a little bit easier to manage, which gives me the impression that in the Saints Row-verse, the socialite was originally bred as a racing car as opposed to a civilian vehicle. I mean, I still like it, just not in the context of escort. And when you couple it with the rubber band AI that the news vans seem to have, welp, that's just icing on your cupcake. Ooh. Hey, you do not ram me into my employer's clients.
Don't hit your head on the harness, okay?
Yeah, Show you what's up. Huh, he busted my headlight. Really hope Lindsay is going to reimburse me for that.
Do you want to take a harbor cruise, baby?
And this is the annoying, one of the reasons the university escort missions are a lot more reviled, in my opinion. Well, personally speaking, I really don't like them compared to the red light district, is because even though it starts on the southern islands, there's a lot of clients who want to go to the marina, which is on the northern island, at one of the northernmost points. Again, I don't mind driving over there in a vehicle like this, but once again, you have to keep in mind the handling on this thing is kind of garbage. And when you have to deal with that all the way over to the northernmost points of Stillwater, while being tailed by news vans that threaten to fail the mission if you let them stay in your proximity too much, well, I'm guessing, once again, you can see why the university escort is my least favorite escort. And it doesn't help that the northern island tends to have slightly more crowded streets than the southern island, which is not exactly key when you're trying to evade vans.
I'm trying to work back here.
Do not let them get
No you're not, ma'am. I can see that you and the client are just sitting there. Also, the pleasure meter isn't going up, therefore I'm fairly certain you're not working. The good news is, whenever clients want to go to the marina, it's always just, you always need to just drive to the parking lot of the Chardhard up here. Why did I just say up in here? I'm not DMX right now. That's one of the things that makes going to the marina slightly bearable. You don't actually have to drive down to the docks, you just need to basically get to the entrance, and then the game and your imagination will take it from there. By the way, almost missed the client there. This is my second run of recording the escort activities. I was originally going to use my first one with a little bit of a cold open where I answer the phone from Carlos to basically get it out of the way, but ultimately it was comprised of a lot of rambling and a lot of retries. Wouldn't be surprised if after level 3 you see me having to cut away Edgy Berserker style frequently because I keep failing it for various reasons. And another target that needs to get smoked because the client apparently seems to be a sick fella. I mean, I'm also kinda sick when it comes to these games, but at least I'm upfront about that. Almost ran into an ambush.
Making my job any easier.
It's like that mission in Vice City where you have to basically play a destruction derby with a bunch of taxi cabs because they're mad you stole their business. I'm glad you don't have to deal with any rival escort services during this activity when you... I forgot what I was gonna say. I was mainly trying to get out of the radius, and it appears my strategy worked.
Shit! Step on the gas!
Don't worry, friendo. I am redlining this thing. Huh, and compared to that time I drove the wrong way on the bridge with Skylar, in this game that is, I actually managed to do quite well when it comes to wrong way driving. Not too shabs. Fredo? Not too shabs. Of course, there is a difference between bridge driving and regular driving.
Not today, fascist!
I thought that news van was a little bit suspect the way it was driving the wrong way. Heh, not today fascist indeed, though. You have a good point, friend. Okay, that news van was chaotic neutral. Didn't need to worry about it. Huh. Oh, right. This is leftover from the Septic Avenger activities when Sophie had me spraying bits of the university.
How could they not have a coin-operated bed? Okay, your turn.
Huh. That was a motel?
I ought to put a saddle on you next time.
Yes. I will assume that is a motel. Emphasis on assume.
That was a hell of a rodeo.
Get ready. The sex scandal never misfires.
Thanks for the ride, sugar.
Tell your mom I'll pick her up tomorrow at 8.
Do I want to know what that meant? Yeah, you know what? Probably not. And this is another reason why Stillwater University escort is my least favorite escort. The reward for completing that is reduced Sons of Somni notoriety. Personally, the police notoriety drops are my most favorite out of the 4. Not just because they're the only quote-unquote gang that's around by the end of the storyline. but mainly because it's easier for me to outrun most of the gangs at lower levels, or at least get to a forgive and forget fast enough. I didn't say get to a crib with a helicopter pad fast enough, because when you're in a helicopter, your notoriety does not decay. So, what I'm trying to say is, good on you, Volition, for creating a little, basically trying to prevent an exploit when it comes to dropping your notoriety. Shrewd, fellas. Shrewd.
Well, hello there.
Huh. It appears that Stillwater's, more sexually repressed members seem to be experts at doing magic teleports. Whoa! I almost thought that Ethel up there was like the, one of the vehicles that chase you down in this activity, and I just realized my footage meter is filling up way too fast.
Oh no!
Oh, crap. I am definitely gonna have to restart at some point. Yeah, case in point.
Family can't know about this.
Yeah, don't worry, sir. I am trying to... I managed to dead-end myself. Yeah, I'm probably going to need a restart. I'll be back, folks.
I don't like the look on that person's face.
Oh, I apparently managed to kill the target without really noticing. Interesting.
Shut the fuck up and keep licking my feet. I'm trying to work back here.
Calm down, ma'am. The client wants me to smash up a bunch of other vehicles. Must have played Demolition Racer a little too much as a child. Or at least when he was... or at least watched his kids play it.
Quit bitching.
A little too much, if you ask me. Hey, my pleasure meter is going up quite fast. Did it just jump up a massive chunk in the last few seconds when I was saying that? I'll be sure to check back the footage.
Boy.
Maybe it did. Huh, just noticed something. The windows in this thing are all tinted, but the hooker just rolled down her window. I assume it's because all the, in this activity, they're programmed to act as homies, so they get into the vehicle with you or something. Seems like a weird place to get picked up for this sort of thing. Oh, do not bump into me, ma'am. You know how much this car cost? Oh, okay. I don't mind that collision because it actually managed to get me turned around the right way. Come on, come on, come on. Gotta go fast, gotta go fast. Gas, gas, gas. I'm gonna step on the gas. Ah, good, good. I've defeated the rubber band vans for now. Alright, let's see if I can test my theory of if the highways will be my friend in this activity.
Hey, I could use you for some stunt driving.
Oh, really? Well, the irony is I have been playing Stuntman Ignition a lot. Well, a fair amount, at least.
Call me the DK.
Huh. About that stunt driving, sir, you mind putting that offer on ice for a while? Until I can figure out how to not consistently crash the vehicle? Ooh, okay, that was a mess up.
Ride 'em, cowgirl!
Is that slang for crash into stuff? Because, I sure can do that.
Be ruined if they see me.
Sir, most of the glass and the doors on this vehicle are kind of annihilated already. You're already pretty ruined in terms of, your bill for this. Well, if you even get billed for this.
Right there.
Okay, already this seems to be going a lot better than my first recording of this. Not counting the last level and not counting my rage quit last level and that time I flipped the Eyes Wolf over while trying to take a shortcut through Saints Row. This seems to be going a lot better than my previous time when the source footage was almost an hour long. I guess it's all subjective, whether as to whether or not you enjoy this mission. Depends on how well you can evade the vans. I know I've probably been talking about that for like the last 30 minutes or so. Well, oh, almost ran over the client. Sorry about that, Captain. Ooh, my pleasure meter shot up a pip automatically. Ooh. Okay, apparently the universe was taking pity on me and knew that I was going to crash into a couple of things and get almost as much footage as it gave me pleasure preemptively. Huh, I wonder if I can just do this by doing laps around the church.
Lose 'em! I'm trying to enjoy myself back here.
Okay, it looks like that's not so much of a good idea, as my footage meter might be going up a little bit with each subsequent lap, and I seem to have drawn aggro in a couple vans.
Settle on you next time.
If I ever catch you dogs in the open sea, I take more in your pictures.
Okay, so apparently taking a shortcut through the foliage there was a bit of a good idea.
Bet I can stay up here for more than 8. Are you sleeping at the wheel?
Well, I have been doing this for a while, ma'am, so of course I might be a hair inattentive.
Not much of a humanitarian, huh?
You know, they say they're slow, those construction workers, but they're not.
Bastards!
Oh, if you crash into the news vans that are setting up roadblocks, then they, when you crash into the news vans that are at the roadblocks, they tend to, they immediately get on your tail. It's kind of like roadblocks in the first 2 driver games. You crash into any police cruisers there, then they also end up joining the chase.
Shake those damn sea slugs!
Yeah, you know what, I think I'll take a little bit of a shortcut. Won't go that side street. Can I squeeze through here?
Lose 'em!
Yes, I can.
Yourself back here.
How far away is the... Oh, the waterfront ain't so far away. In fact, it's almost near where I started this little adventure.
There. Now, back to plundering your...
Well done indeed.
You're better than I expected, darling.
Oh, I wasn't intending to take a shortcut through, through here, but whatever. News vans can't really spawn from, where there aren't roads. Ah, good. My gambit worked out. I didn't expect that van to stay where it was long enough, but whatever. The important thing is, I won. And that pleasure meter up there? That was how I felt about finally finishing this stuff. And when you complete level 6 of an activity where level 3 gives you a faster notoriety decay, you unlock an even faster notoriety decay. And when you complete both instances of certain activities, you unlock a unique reward. In this case, you unlock the escort vehicles, the socialite, and an all-black variant of the Ethel. I'm guessing one of the reasons why you drive an Eiswolf in red light escort, but you unlock an Ethel afterwards is partially because, and this is just freestyling here, that the decision to change the red light escort vehicle to an Eiswolf was possibly a late decision where they didn't have enough time to change the reward for finishing the activity on the whole. Also, we end up unlocking an Eiswolf much later in the game, but we'll have to do that some other time, because that is where we shall conclude. For today, I'm Fredo Supreme, the American Dream. Holla at y'all later.